fine. It's gonna be good. I gotta figure out how to fix Streamlabs. For some reason, it keeps having my chat window as like half. I don't really know why that is. I'll fix it at some point in like 12 years. But anyway, getting into some of the stuff that's been going on. Obviously, there's been a lot of big moves over this last week or so. Eden Zero's arc is coming to an end. There's a big question mark of like what exactly is going to happen next with the Spade arc, considering it looks like, I mean, at least as of right now, the 3 Dark Triad members are defeated. So I don't really know what Tabata's got on the back burner, like ready to move out. Like it's something with Morris, unless there's going to be another gate open. I don't really know what exactly is going to pop up that's going to be a threat to the characters. Because you got to keep in mind like how many captains and like big people are still fresh? How many of them can still fight? And that's not even taking into account like the amount of time characters are going to have to kind of like rest and heal. And then obviously Asta amongst all of them is like a huge factor because once Devil Union comes back up, it's going to be super dangerous for him for really the Spade Kingdom to have to deal with. So Morris has to drop something soon. Like I don't think we could really have like a good chunk period of time after Xenon's defeat to sit around and just kind of like chill. I think there has to be an event happening with it, like maybe at the end of the next chapter. There has to be something to kind of kick things off to show that like things aren't over. Because right now, that's the current potential problem. We have one of the Triad members fully dead. We have 2 of them defeated. We don't know exactly what's going on with Dante or Ivanica, but there's no way that Xenon is getting back up. Like that dude got his heart chopped in half. He should be dead. Should be dead. But outside of that, there's a lot just in works for a lot of things. Like Fairy Tail, we're about to go into Dogramag's labyrinth and see what exactly Celine's got planned. There's some question marks that were all laid up in this last chapter about like what was the magic set of weapons that Elisari was talking about. What's up with this heart inside the labyrinth? Why is the labyrinth a thing? What's the connection between Dogramag and Celine? Like what exactly is the game gonna be? What's Diablo's doing on the inside? How's it going, Kenny Fanboy? How are you doing? I'm mostly just kind of talking right now. There's a lot of really neat stuff in the works. I actually did like this like little chibi thing of Elisari because the last one looked really cool at this to get like a really good shot of like what is kind of like weird dragon ear horn things are supposed to be. Wait, actually, now that I think about it, is that what those are supposed to be? Are those ears? Hang on. Hang on. Let me go to his. Let me go to that chapter real quick where you actually see a whole thing of him, because that would make kind of sense in like the concept of him being a law dragon and like him just being able to acquire information. If it's like he's kind of like he's got big ears for hearing, as like kind of like a wink wink nudge nudge kind of thing. Let me see. Have those been his ears the whole time? And I just never really. I think they are. I think they're all supposed to just be his ears. That's just what makes the most sense to me. Cause I don't see any other spot where his ears could be. I guess he just has lots of ears. I don't know. Neat feature. I always like the weird elbow pieces that he has in his dragon form, but I never really thought about those being multiple ears. I thought they were just like horn pieces, but I think they might actually be ears. That's really strange. I wonder what it's like to hear with like have like just multiple more ears to hear things. I don't know. Either way, but yeah. I'm a little bummed out about it. Seems Red Hood has gotten, well, it's like on the way to getting axed. It doesn't look like it's surviving, which is unfortunate. I liked it. There hasn't been really any younger series living lately, and that's really been bumming me out. And, the ones that I really liked, I mean, I liked Candy Flurry, but the one that I was the most hyped for was the infamous Build King. I just wish that it was what was going on. If only. But either way, I will see if people show up. We'll see if people want to show up for the stream. If it's not a lively stream day, we can always just plan for a different day, maybe Monday or Tuesday or something. Sometime during the week, maybe. We'll see. I always kind of look at that whenever I start a stream, of whether or not it's going to be an active stream or if it's just one of those days where nobody shows up and it's real dead. I know it's like some people got shit to do, so I don't really expect people to arrive. So we'll see. I'll give it another minute. If no one really kind of arrives, we'll just call it good, and we'll plan for a different day. what's happening. I'm not primarily a streaming channel, so I know that like people aren't as reluctant to jump on one of my streams as like one of my videos. Do you think? Wait, I'd like for Shonen to be set in the Byzantine Empire under Justinian's for the first reign. A lot to explore. I mean, that'd be neat. I don't really know much about that. I'm sure there's lots of crazy stuff that goes along about along that lore. What country is that? Like, where in the world is that from, or is that like a fictional place? I have no idea. Never heard of Byzantine or the Byzantine Empire, Byzantine, or however that's pronounced. What's up, Jared Punch? How are you doing today? Bud, how are you guys doing? What's going on with you guys? Bud, when are you getting back to those fairy tale reads, man? What's up, I Hate Power? How are you doing today? I was enjoying those. Those fairy tale reads were hypes. I gotta finish my quiz and see you in a moment. All right, you come back. We'll see how long this goes. I was really gonna let the stream kind of depend on like whether or not it ends up being long stream or short stream, just based off of like the conversation, and we'll see. Like I said, there's usually some of those times that people are just busy and there's no stream. It is what it is. Oh, I have no idea. I mean, I'm not acting like I'm a history major. If it is, then it is. What if Xenon distorted the space around his heart? I was saying, like, what if Xenon cut himself, like, cut through it and then separate it? Kind of like, like when a magician saws somebody in half and then it just kind of, like, spreads them apart. Or, like, kind of like when Law cuts somebody because he's, like, not really damaging them. He's, like, weirdly just kind of, like, not disassembling them. More like just detaching them and then getting them all split up, but he's not actually doing damage. I guess if he did something like that, so missed, but I don't think so, because I think the scene was set up more for a Yuno victory, and on top of that, like the whole stuff where Xenon was just saying like, this is my victory, and then Yuno's like, no, it's ours. It has too much of a big climax. It ended on a double spread. Yuno's hair is like partly going black, so his spirit dive is starting to fade out. He's probably running on fumes right now. How strong do you think Yuno is? Yuno versus Gray. Gray claps Yuno so bad. Like it's not even a comparison. It's like if you put Yuno against Gray, and like it. Not even talking about power level stuff, like just the ability counter, like Gray can freeze ethereal things. So like Yuno's wind spells could be frozen. He just freezes like the stars and just drops them on the floor, and then he can just go in and run over Yuno. Like he's way too powerful for Yuno. Like not even like I said, not even talking about just like the power level. Like he just has better feats. He's a better fighter. He's way quicker on his feet. Because Yuno has wind, so he's got like pretty like borderline shapeless magic. He's like Gray's closer to like Nozel, and like Nozel has similar to that of like Maker magic for Black Clover, where he can just free form his Mercury. Because the difference between like a regular wizard in Fairy Tail and like a Maker wizard is a Maker wizard doesn't really have a cap on spells, because they're doing make of something they think of, they're grafting into something. So he's just going to be endlessly doing different attacks, and he starts whipping out bigger spells. He's going to be too much for him. I don't want a story to end first, so I'll probably start back in January. I mean, you're only like in the Grand Magic games, and there's 100 Years Quest is going. I don't really know when you think it's going to end. Like there's chapters coming out. I need more fantasy manga to draw up main characters to wear giant wizard hats and to staff. I wish there were more staff using characters. They're more powerful stepbrother Holy Roman Empire, which isn't Holy Roman or an Empire. Gotcha. So I'm probably going to chat and then spar with Ella Sarah. I don't think she's going to spar with them. I'd be stoked if we could just have a short scene where her and Ella Sarah swap a couple attacks. That'd be hype. I would love that. I wouldn't expect that at all, just to have that kind of flex. Like, I feel like Elefsarian knows that, just don't mess with her. And, Natsu went to go clash with, it was human form Celine, but also was base form Natsu. I don't think Natsu's going to end up trying just to jump on top of Celine by himself again. I mean, he could. If he decides to go in a higher form that's different, he'll be thinking a little bit smartly. It's he always wants to, match opponents with forms and only use power-ups when he thinks he needs to. The thing that happened to him with Suzaku, if this was a much younger Natsu, like mentally, he would have went in a higher form, and he probably wouldn't have had this, the issue. But like he functions differently now on a decision level basis when it comes to fighting some people. And Suzaku as a swordsman is like, he goes in there, that sword comes out, he's got kill on his mind. I watched Fairy Tail Gray has no speed feats. I'm like, what are you talking about? Who said? Who would possibly try and say that Gray has no speed feats? Gray's been emphasized on his reaction and attack speed since the start. Like, it's not like he's not like the craziest move. Like he doesn't have like crazy movement speed. He's still got good general kind of I'd say close combat move speed, not like long distance move speed is the better way to say it. But I'm like, Gray's been fast. That was one of the first things we really figured out about Gray when the other guild masters in Clover were seeing Fairy Tail Wizards in action, and they were astonished by how fast Gray's ice make was, like how fast he could construct things. And that's not even talking about stuff like his 7-slice dance, sniping people from miles away with his super freeze arrow, and that's part 1. Gray's always been a fast dude. Look at his fight with Rufus, and he was going so fast, Rufus's brain couldn't even memorize or process him in time. Been seeing this air for Shonen. Man, you're saying a bunch of words and stuff I don't know. I mean, I know there's tons of history that is really cool history that's unchecked, but I have no idea, so I'm just gonna be struggling on words. Here's a grim dark idea. What if Deku had returned by death? Which power is that? Is that a My Hero thing, or am I thinking of something else? I'm trying really hard. Return by death. Psionic Knights are Northern Baltic Crusaders. Gotcha. I want to see a more shonen based on Crusaders. I'd love to have more knight stuff. That's one of the reasons I think I like Seven Deadly Sins. I have a little bit of a bias for Seven Deadly Sins a good chunk of the time because it has that knights and swords. Because Fairy Tail's wizards and Urza's obviously a knight, but it's not knights and castle themed, whereas Seven Deadly Sins is. And I've always loved the whole medieval fantasy. I like Fairy Tail style too, but I always have that soft spot when something's like a medieval style, just kind of old style fantasy. Celine really been deserving her title as God. Yeah, she's been running over people. People were acting like Celine when we saw her fighting Suzaku was going all out, or Celine was done, or anything like that. That was Celine's introduction. We were just getting to the first parts of her. So it's weird because some people just aren't patient. They think that every chapter is all right, this is the end of the arc. It's no, just I mean, I could get confusion, but you should wait to at least see the conclusion of whatever topic you're talking about. Because if somebody was more oh well, if this is the case, this is my opinion on Celine or something. But it's shouldn't you be aware of the potential that Mishima is doing something, or you could be wrong. I don't know. Those guys are always really strange. I have to go see in a half hour. Well, I hope to see you when you come back. I have this theory, Voltos, but y'all ever looked at Voltos spells or busted multiple block-wide spatial ports and transport people hundreds of kilometers away? Plus, he has no backstory. As what? As the fourth Zogratis? I don't know about that. I'm still really indifferent. I really like my theory, and I know that's it sounds super obvious, super plain for a guy to say I like my theory better, but I like the idea that Zogratis were a disgraced branch of the Grinburial royal family, because there's the whole setup where if you have a royal family, it's okay, the firstborn is the one that goes out and will become the king, and obviously that's not always the case, but then anyone after that, it's they're gonna stay prince or get some other royal nobleman status. So you could have say that the fourth Zogratis, or maybe the Zogratis family at some point were still tied to the Grinburial castle, and then did something, got kicked out, and then they wanted revenge, did a bunch of stuff with Demon's Dells, because it would make sense if maybe the Zogratis people that the initial ones were the ones that were turned into ancient demons, then frozen. Maybe that was the whole start of their family and devil stuff. Forbidden magic and all those things. War on the Roses base. Oh, you talking about Yu-Gi-Oh? I love that game. Recommend extra history for just. Oh man, that's history. I don't know about history. I don't want to learn stuff right now. I'll learn stuff later. Certainly, since the surprising graphic. the part where King Dragon transported in the past and the body of the former Fairy Kings. I mean, they're just shown. That's just shown in graphic levels, though. I was not expecting dismember and stabbing wounds. Yeah, it happens. You can get away with dismember all the time. I like when I know that wizards used to get persecuted, executed in fairy tale. Yeah, there was a huge discriminatory issue, and then just evil wizards obviously causing a lot of problems. I like how in War of the Roses. Oh, you're thinking of a different one. I'm thinking of Yu-Gi-Oh. Oh, I'm thinking Duelist of the Roses. No, not the fourth sibling. That's Rades. Rades would be cool. Like, I don't really know what like Tabata would do with that, but it would be really cool if it was Rades. I'd be really hyped if it was Rades. I don't think it would fit. It'd be really weird. There would be need to have a lot of questions answered, but I don't think it could be Rades. Movement speed for Gray? What do you mean? Mira Jane versus Agil? I'd still give it to Agil. Mira just hasn't got the... Mira's problem is, like... Mira could be argued within, like, viable range for Agil, considering, like... Her fight with Jacob was nerfed, but it's like, you can still give her a little bit of credit for it. Also, her running over Julianne Haynes. But it's like, you can look at, like, her stuff, like, at least skirmishing a little bit with Scullion and stuff. If she had, like, hacks to actually fight Agil, then I could maybe kind of, like, give her a little bit of, like, okay, well, maybe if it goes this way. But she doesn't really have anything. She's got, like, her macro and stuff, but, like, what's that going to do to Agil? Nothing. Agil should still beat her. I don't understand Gray reflex speed, but flat. I mean, Gray is not a long-distance movement speed guy. That's, like, Happy. Oh, thank you for the $2, Jake Miller. Any chances Yuno Mother's still alive? There's that theory that's been floating around. I know Faith has been tied to that since it came out. I mean, we never saw a body, so like the possibility of her being alive is still on the table. It's not something that's like completely out. Tabata hasn't shown a body, and I don't think there's been any confirmation of her straight death. So Tabata could just reveal that she is alive. She not to be 5th Gen Dragon Slayer since he ate some Atlas Flame's body. I don't really know if it would work the same way, because he's an ethereal dragon. He's made up of fire. Like, it would probably have to be whatever makes up his core, like whatever makes up his dragon being, not the flames. It'd be really hard to kind of like describe without really knowing more about Atlas Flame, because he's a really weird dragon, obviously not having a physical body whatsoever. I think when an Asta versus Yuno versus Noelle currently, I mean, Asta Devil Union should be fine. I see people saying brain magic, but soul magic would be cooler. I really want Morris to have brain magic. Mirror Clap's great. No, she doesn't. Stop. Elfman and Lizana literally tumbled Agil. I mean, it's off screen. Here's the thing about the Elfman and Lizana aspect. Elfman is actually strong. Elfman is actually capable of throwing hands with big people. Elfman's problem is that he's slow, he's a close-range fighter, and if you're nimble enough, you can just get around him. That's always been Elfman's problem. That's why he got, like, Were-Tiger and stuff. Look at his fight with Evergreen. Look at his fight with Bacchus. Every time that he has an opponent that is fast and nimble, he has problems with. That's why when Wall made a robot that exploits his weakness, its little thing was, I am a fast attacker. Whereas Lizana is fast. Lizana was regarded by Urza that her requips were very fast. We saw that Mira Jane was saying that when she saw Lizana do it during the short confrontation with Azuma. She has a degree of speed, but that's it. And then combined with Elfman, they were able to pretty much make up for the others' losses. Plus, Elfman had a Sand Beast takeover, one that let him neutralize a lot of Agil's effects. Theirs was literally just good teamwork combo, power advantage. They had just a lot working for them that really kind of hurt Agil. If like Elfman went against like pretty much any other Spriggan, he would have had he would have got ran over. Granted, in a 1v1, he still wouldn't have beaten Agil. I mean, you put Lizana and Elfman against, like, what, like, Nineheart or Bloodman. There's nothing they could do about it. Elfman is cool. I really like Elfman. I just really wish Elfman would... Like Mishima would let him do something. He hasn't done anything in a long time, and I miss it. Mishima is much of the first part of the week without a lot of planning, so we probably hadn't come up with a 5th gen. Depends. Like, there's a lot of stuff that Mishima... Like, Mishima's been comments about stuff that he doesn't plan, but there's absolute areas that he lays out, like, in advance. But like I said, Atlas Flame's a bit of a weird case because he doesn't have a dragon body. Or he doesn't have a body. He's literally just fire. Don't be racist in the chat. Who do you want to see Morris fight? I would love, like, Zora. Akinogi versus Kaido versus Otsutsuki Ishii. I mean, Akinogi should just eat him. Kaido does nothing. This is Akinogi versus Ishii, but Akinogi can just eat everything he sends his way and then just jump on top of him. What's up, Guillotine? How you doing? How crazy do you think that if I said Noelle seems stronger than Lucy in Saint stage? She's not. Lucy is currently well within Spriggan tier, and that's beyond Noelle can possibly even handle. It's hard. It's easy to think that because Noelle is a fighter. You see way more of her power in like direct combat sense, whereas Lucy can fight, but she's a caster. Lucy is a tactical casting character. Like, all of her big spells are ranged. All of her, like, most dangerous things are ranged, heavy-hitting spells. Aranometry is a really good showcase of that. Because it's just a giant, fuck-all, massive energy attack that you just drive into your opponent. And on top of that, she has Gemini, who can turn into her and then double the effect that she already has on it. Or just turn, like, she has too much that Noelle can really even deal with. Like, what's going to happen if she gets Gemini and has Gemini turns into Noelle, and then it's Noelle and Lucy versus Noelle? Elfman versus Shigaraki, who would win? I mean, Elfman's slow for Fairy Tail, but, like, he's fast as fuck for My Hero, and he legitimately can one-shot him. The level of physical strength he has would just completely... Like, it would just pop Shigaraki like a grape. Like, the physical strength gap is too big. Obviously, Shigaraki has hacks, but it's like, when you literally die from the first attack, it doesn't really matter. Let me see. Let me read some more of these. I gotta scroll up. I want to see to make sure I don't... Return by Death's Power and ReZero. Oh, that's the one where it just comes back? Wait, who are you saying had Return by Death? I'm trying to see. I don't know. I saw a thing for it. I don't know. I'll figure it out at one point. Let me read some more of these. Okay, here I found my spot. Urza versus Akame. I mean, Akame's cool, but I mean, what'd she do to Urza? Like, Akame, like, characters that are cool, and I get that they're swordsmen, but like when you really look at Urza stats and Urza feats, and then Akame stats and Akame feats. Akame's got the OP sword, but I'm like, it's not gonna matter if Urza can just break it and punch the shit out of her. Yeah, I really like Zora fighting him. Don't say Acnologia being Ishiki. I mean, Acnologia ate a concept of the universe that didn't exist fully, and that nothing was capable of existing within it. He ate it and then broke out of it. Like, the Naruto characters are strong, but Acnologia is a monster. Like, Mishima always has, like, just this absurd creature in his series. Like, Rave Master had Endless. It looks like Xenon is the first one to die in the raid. It seems so. Noelle's faster? No, she's not. She's absolutely not. Spriggan people outclass... Like, Prime Julius and, like, people way up there would be... Like, Prime Julius and maybe Dante would be... Well, no, not Dante. Dante wouldn't be Spriggan level. Prime Julius would definitely be Spriggan level based off hacks, but not off of, like, other power capabilities, not off of other stats. Spriggan, like, Brandish could walk through Black Clover and just snap her fingers. Like, these guys are going to completely demolish him. Lucy being able to, keep up with, like, Natsu and other people at that level, especially right now... is so far beyond what Noelle could do. It's not even close. Like her defeating Mimi, and granted, Mimi as a fighter doesn't have anything flashy or crazy. She's just a big brute powerhouse, and again, she was definitely Spriggan level. All of the Moonlight Beauty gods should be in that category, and Lucy defeating her, yeah, she absolutely will run through Noelle. Okay, Lucy Spriggan. I mean, Lucy now is without a doubt way stronger than Mira Jane. Is she stronger than Cog in Great Dimensions? Okay. I mean, she got sealed up in a moon level attack, so I don't really think that's an accurate thing. Whereas, like, Celine is pulling the moon around with her casually. Magic and Trucker, you treat them the same. You're like, I don't need to go over the basic rule of energy equalization. I brought it up so many times. It's such a standard rule. I don't understand how people don't get. That's like trying to say like, well, nobody can beat a Bleach character because they can't see him unless they have like like Ryatsu. It's like, no, that's not how that works. Or like Hunter characters can one shot because they Nen baptism characters without Nen. As Death versus Demaria, she just stops time immediately, chops her head off. What do you think of Xenon combining his spatial and bone magic? I thought it was cool. I was happy his sword got a name. I like when unique looking weapons have names, when they're given a title to them. Oh, Deku had returned by death. That wouldn't be very interesting. The Dragon Slayer Knights will win against Fairy Tail in their first matches. I assume so. I assume it's not going to be like a big match, but there'll be like a scuffle. And we'll maybe get like a couple moments where they just kind of like face off with each other or something. I would love just like kind of like a scene similar to when they first ran into the Rathion Sace, where it's just like a battlefield and characters are throwing some attacks around, just to have more of a display rather than like an actual big fight, where it's just like, okay, we're gonna get to see a little bit from each character. What happened if Dai became a Dragon Slayer? Or is that from the Dragon Quest game or show? I haven't watched it. We're seeing how Acnologia for longer than Ignil. I mean, Acnologia was fucking around. He didn't take them seriously. Acnologia straight up said that he acknowledged Ignil and that he was gonna slay him. Whereas with Christina, he's just messing around. Is Yuno related to Sleep? No. I've seen everyone other than you put current Black Clover characters at country level like Spriggan. Spriggan are large, high continental. Ethereum, like, I want you to look into how big the Clover Kingdom is. The Clover Kingdom, like, last time I've seen anybody scale it, and that's using maps, using stuff like Chrono Antistasis and like the Light Swords of Judgment. It's like a couple 100 kilometers wide. It's like 300 kilometers wide. That's the distance from Magnolia to Hargion. If you actually look at it, Fiore is over 20 times the size of the Clover Kingdom. And Ethereon can wipe that out on a bare minimum. When people mention Ethereon's power, it's assuming when they talk about how it can engulf an entire country, it can wipe out a country, you're using Fairy Tail country sizes. Fiore is one of the smallest. It's like the second smallest one. If you go by that, since it's the main one, it's still high continental because it's massive. The distance from Fiore or Hargion to Magnolia being 370 kilometers made it the whole country gigantic. It's small by their world standards, but it's huge by ours. And Ethereon being able to wipe out 20 plus times the size of more than that, because really, what's the largest attack really, like, in straight proven feats in Black Clover? Like what, like stuff like Chrono Antistasis? Actually, no, the biggest one would be like the Licked Demon being able to wipe out the whole Clover team. So that times 20 is a base route for Spriggan, and that's not even talking about like bigger Spriggan. Like, it's ridiculous. I know quirks being able to evolve. Isn't that already a thing? Oh, you're saying like there's certain stages? Oh, I can understand that. I wonder if there's a way to prove if there's like how many stages a guy would have. And I know that, like, obviously stages, you know, Black Clover, Nightmares, but obviously it'd be different. It could be closer to something like Maybe something closer to like how like Pokemon and their evolutionary chains work. Brandish was slapping Lucy. Yes, Alvarez, Brandish, and current Alvarez, Lucy, and current Lucy are two completely different people. There's more than a year in difference between them. Lucy has now gone to Elentier and been affected by the transcendent magic over there. She had just last arc beat a Spriggan level character like Mimi. Brandish is completely different at that point. Can we send Wendy a high enchanter on par with Irene? She can do it with some degrees, but it's not like she was able to match her in every enchantment. She's able to match some of her enchantments. Just Ziggy devoured multiple planets. Yeah, over millions and millions of years across like their whole species, and it's a step-by-step process. They don't just show up and eat a planet. You know, getting Saint Sage proves Undine did the best thing. You can literally get the power of synchronize well enough. Yeah, I would have preferred it if Belle mentioned something that seemed like she knew about it at least beforehand. I'll pull some strings in at computer setup instead of using my 2013 computer. Oh man, the PC setup. Here's what you should do: get yourself a fairly well set gaming computer. I think like a pretty solid one is like $700-800. I don't know how much money you got for your budget, but like get something like that and then just build it up slowly. Add better and better parts and just build it up over time. For the fourth Dragon assembly, do you want him to have soul magic or memory magic? I think memory magic would be really neat, but it would really depend on what Tabata does. Like as long as he's got a really cool magic, I don't really care. It has to go in with the with their magic. So guessing brain magic is like one of the most likely ones that people have been poking at. Even though I wanted Morris to have it. Who do you think the scariest Spriggan to go up against would be? I mean, probably August. Because August is going to instantly learn over things. Or Bloodman. Actually, August depends. Because like we know that August is reasonable. You can talk to August. You can try and work something out with him. Whereas like someone like Bloodman is literally just wants to walk towards you and choke you to death with devil particles and stuff. And also as a side thing, we've been streaming for a little bit. I really appreciate it if you guys could thumbs up the stream. Press that thumbs up button, the like button, subscribe if you haven't. And if you feel like donating any money to me, you don't have to. If you want to throw $1 my way, I'd appreciate it. Anyway, let me get back to more about this stuff. Imagine if Horikoshi has Toga be with Araka and Izuku. Wait, what? That'd be weird. I can't believe that Yuno, Spirit of Zephyr did has some potential to destroy devils. We knew that from when he first used it. Couldn't Meliodas, in theory, defeat any Fairy Tail Slayer by full counter roar? No, they're not affected by their own elements. Natsu literally ran into this by the Vanish Brothers at the very start of the series in Everlu's Mansion. They used flame cooking, it absorbed Natsu's roar, doubled its power, shot it back, it did 0 damage to him, and he just walked through it. He just jumped right at him. Slayers are unaffected by their own types. Chris or Kurt, still less impressive Tower of Heaven, Altaris one shots. Altaris is really OP when you think about it. I would love to see it used again. Like the fact it was messing with light and dark, it was making shadows stretch in the opposite direction is really weird. I always wonder like how that works scientifically. Is it supposed to be like a black hole? Because it's obviously different than the Altaris and Rave Master. It's like way more of an offensive spell, whereas Rave Master Altaris is a memory manipulator. It's like a mind fuckery spell. Kind of like Tsukiyomi. You mean Gray and Leon versus Racer and Gray versus... Wait, what are you talking about? Gray, like, in his fight against Racer, that was one of his, like, earliest really good speed feats. Like, he sniped Racer away, like, from, like, a mile away. He just... Bam, shot him, and like the dude had a heads up and still wasn't able to even dodge remotely. So they can redeemable villains Zeref for irredeemable villains Frieza. I like Zeref more. I like villains they're like in a gray area where it's really hard to kind of you have to kind of see it from their perspective, and though you can't really get on board with what they're saying and what they're doing, you can understand it. Kind of like Griffith. That's one of the things I like about Zeref too, is he's in that area where it's like, I get why you're doing this, but can you stop? Like you're doing a lot of bad things to a lot of people. Whereas like Frieza's just a bad guy. Like, Frieza's style worked when he was actually, like, the bad guy, like, the main bad guy, because now he's like Zero. Zero's a good way to compare. Zero, when he came out, he surprise boss, but he didn't really have much to his character. He wasn't like a deep dude. He didn't have a complex goal. He was a destructive, powerful, like magic berserker. And Frieza, like when Zero came back, well, not technically came back. Well, when Brain came back, he just kind of got fodderized and then ran over. And that's been Frieza since he came back, and he's been treated with gags and for jokes, and it's made me sad because he used to be so iconic for me, especially. I used to always play him in the games. I really like the Frieza arc and stuff. Like, now it just seems like he's just used to hype up other bad guys and only around for jokes about how he's short and stuff. It's just not for me. Hey, Meliodas beats the other Dragons. No, he doesn't. He doesn't hurt it. What does Meliodas do to any of them? Full counters their element? It doesn't do anything. Again, it's the same thing also on top of just raw power level gap. Britannia is like the size of actual Great Britain. That would fit in between Fiore and or in between Magnolia and Harjan. It took the 7 deadly sins combined with all their attacks to do a attack that was capable of destroying Britannia. It's tiny compared to what Spriggan characters sit normally. Like the gap is just too big. Dies Dragon Slayer, every spell would have learned to become a Dragon Slayer. What kind of I guess he'd be some form of Blade Dragon Slayer, wouldn't he? Can't wait to see Catboy Haku clap blocks this. I really want to see him in action. He seems like he's gonna be real neat. Could Shigaraki dust Acnologia? I don't think so. I think Acnologia would just be too powerful to really deal with. That's one of the things I also don't really like about My Hero's powers is you have no idea really where certain abilities kind of stick out of, like something like Shigaraki's whole decay. Like, are there limitations? Could he just dust anybody? I'm not a fan of that. I don't think it would do anything. I think he just would be raw too powerful. Because, like, obviously he has a power that does something, but it's like if the universe itself couldn't fuck over this guy, I don't really know what Shigaraki could do. Why do people speak of Lucy writing Pokemon? She didn't rewrite it. She rewrote stuff in it. She didn't change anything. She literally just memorized what the symbols looked like and put them back. So, you know, people should be able to destroy countries. Oh, they're absolutely able to. And Brandish is known as the Nation Destroyer. 100 Quest character Stomp. I mean, yeah, Acnologia stomps My Hero. I mean, yeah, like mid-tier Fairy Tail characters can run through My Hero. I like fighting would work in second look. Can you say Lucy's Spriggan tier? Where do you place her among them? She's like lower Spriggan. She's like people like Agiel and Nineheart and Jacob. She's in the lower echelons, which is still good. Lucy being there is still a lot of progress. I would consider, well, actually, yeah. I was gonna say something about like Snake Lucy, but there's no way that she's not stronger than Snake Lucy now. Is this theory going to Toga being going about the Toga and Shigaraki are the first children of the Cork Singer? What do you think about that theory? Wait, what? First children? I mean, I guess that would make sense of like weird extra quirks. Honestly, Rax, I honestly didn't expect the little boy Dread Slayer theory to actually come true. A lot of people thought that. Wow. That's why I cough. A lot of people thought. Hang on a second. This is a sudden bad cough. Let's see. I'm just being careful in case this cough jumps back on me. Shit. What is gonna happen with Irene? Irene is so weird. I don't know when Mishima's gonna like actually continue the Irene getting a new body plot. Because right now she shows up and then she has to sleep and rest. So we have to get to a point where she can come out and stay out for a while, I think. Claim that Spriggan has a theory on level 8 macro, so it's that Alvarez only got to attack.
Both Face and Ethereum were destroyed. No. Zeref confirmed that they only stopped beforehand because of Zeref. Zeref is the one that prevented them from moving. And on top of that, Wall can just use Ethereum by himself. And outside of the top 3 Spriggan, they're all around the same level. So that should apply to all of them. We know that from Brandish. It also plays into Brandish being like, hey, they used to call me the Nation Destroyer and become a 70-mile tall giant. Could Fairyheart Zeref beat Ignia? Probably. I think he probably could. He just have to be smart about it. It depends. We have to figure out Ignia's abilities too. Because I feel like Ignia could burn the same powers out of him, but it'll just have to be a wait and see thing. I heard 100 Quest is getting anime. Yes, it is. I want to get a keyboard with typewriter keys, but I don't want it to be loud. I mean, just look at different keyboards. You can find one more that you want specifically. I mentioned in my beloved by Mana discussion at Reddit. Oh, you're getting famous. Zenkro was defeated by Nazi using Zenkro's own God-Slaying magic since Zenkro kept eating. Yeah, I know. Which Seraph would have used the Spriggan 12 to fight acting low? Yeah. I mean, he knew he wouldn't be able to do anything. I just keep having to mute it because of cough. We're starting to transition to that, into the fall of the year, so I don't think it's allergy. I think it's like a climate thing. Because I don't really get sick, but climate differences can affect me. Like when I went to Hawaii for the first time, I would get random bloody noses because of the different temperatures and shit. I'll never forgive Machima for screwing Leo and killing Racer. Racer's not dead. Leo's fine. Leo's enjoying life. He got forgiven and he's back in his world where he's supposed to be. That's why it's why Cooler is better than Frieza. I always like Cooler. I wonder if they're ever going to make him canon. What if Labyrinth, which is shown in the latest chapter, is something like Vane's roots connected to Elisarius' heart? That'd be really cool. Like, him making the Labyrinth is really strange. Griffith did a lot of things wrong, my guy. Lucy versus Mary Jane. I definitely think that current Lucy should run over Mary Jane. Like, her recent feats just are way above anything that Mary Jane has. And she's got better and more diverse magic. I'm trying really hard to make sure I don't have one of these other deeper coughing fits come on. What if Toga was a Blood Dragon Slayer? That'd be cool. I'm still wanting a Blood Dragon Slayer. Ziggy gaining Wormhole Ether Gear has gone under the radar, but there's a huge implications for the rest of the series. I brought that up in my review, and it makes you really worried for Wise. No, I'm not dead. I was just coughing. Fruits and Devils are not too different from each other. To a degree. Toga would be the weakest Dragon Slayer ever. I mean, yeah, they should have, like, no real power. The 6th Dragon Slayer uses Elisarius' heart to revive himself along with Earth magic. Like, I'm hoping if... One thing I just want to say, if Mishima doesn't intend on doing anything with, like, a return of Dogramag, because I know that's been an idea, and it was put in the chapter as well. I just want to see what this guy looked like. Or maybe a flashback. Maybe we can get a flashback. Rax, how broken Urza would be wield all the Demon Slayer Dweller and Destroyers. I mean, she's got her Nakagami armor. She's fine. Arthur and Fire Force destroys the Fairy Tail verse. What does Arthur do to Fairyheart Zeref? I don't get people asking about Nubara. I mean, Irene said he won't get his magic back for a while. Of course, we don't see him. I'm hoping he shows up. What's up, Tippy? How's it going, man? Crone has killed Rax. No, I'm alive. Arthur Fire. I already said this. I just want to know what he does to Fairyheart Zeref. But it's fighting the Spade arc. I really like the Magna fight. I would probably say the Magna fight, aspects of the Yuno Xenon fight, I really like the idea of Yuno just teleporting between these stars. But I really like the Magna fight because it was so different. Because like Black Clover doesn't have a lot of brawling character, doesn't have like a lot of like direct melee characters, right? Really in general. And so when it came down to just a fist fight. I thought that was neat. I think in Hunter's Quest Branch's magic has limitations and a time limit. Wait, I think. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, she's gonna have limitations. She's not all powerful. I wonder what happened if Symbiote got someone like Juvia or Wendy. I don't know. That'd be weird. Zerber could not eat his own magic, and he was hurt by Gray using ice against him. He wasn't. Gray had to end up shooting rocks at him at high speeds. He was eating Gray's spells, and when he even shot back his double sling at him, it didn't work. This could fall out of Zenkro's magic to defeat him. Well, no. At that point, Natsu had combined 2 different magics, so it's not the same thing, and it was more powerful than Zenkro, so he wasn't able to really contend with it. Wrench counter slaps Natsu. No, it doesn't. It doesn't do anything. Meliodas at his peak is like what? Like small country level? Natsu runs over him so easy in base form. I'm not sure about Lucy beating Mira since Lucy had to go all out to beat Lisana. I mean, Lucy was using a spell that she's brand new with. That's a huge strain. She doesn't have it the same grasp. Whereas, and on top of that, that's a weaker than current Lucy. Lucy beat Mimi. Mimi is absolutely a Spriggan tier character. Mara Jane has 0 displays of actually beating a Spriggan tier person one-on-one. And we know that she's not even close to people like Gray because of their matches with Scullion. Needs to start his mix. Leon's made his strongest attack. That's not her strongest attack. Her strongest attack is still Aronometria. Leon Maiden is a wide range light attack. Aronometria is still her biggest spell. Black Sky versus Black Divider. Depends. Because now we know that, like, true gravity is a thing and actually manipulating gravity. And I wonder if Black Sky is that as well. If it is an ether gravity attack, or if Shiki at that point is actually doing stuff with gravity. Tony was Dragon Slayer. Yeah, she was just a human. I wish Fairy Tail could be large online MMO. That'd be cool. I wish. Lucy gets more Stardust mix options. I mean, she will. She's only done, 2 so far? Imagine Celine being one of the ones who killed Buster and the dragon many years ago. That'd be cool. I would love to see more connections. Like, there's a lot of potential with the Dragon Gods in flashbacks, and that's why I've been really wanting to see some flashbacks. And Celine is a good window into finding out a lot of old lore. What if Toga got carded? She'd just be around stabbing and biting people, I guess. Would Celine know about Irene? She should. Irene is a very important... Like, Irene is one of the most important characters in the overall plot in total. The 3 biggest plot characters are Acnologia, Zeref, and Irene. You can't have the story without the 3 characters there. They're too important. They're the driving factors of pretty much every single major event. Talking about Irene and stuff. French counter bases power on how much damage Mel takes. So, but Natsu would one-shot Meliodas the second their fight starts. Like I said, just look at the raw power level gap. It's too big. Meliodas cannot fight Natsu. Natsu is too strong. I think it would be Celestial Magic. I mean, the problem, I think, if there was an MMO, Fire Dragon Slaying Magic is already so close to what I would love. Like, the only difference, I think I would probably have some side magics, but, like, Fire Dragon Slaying Magic would just be the main. That's, like, how I've always really wanted, like, a magic type. A Fire Brawler, obviously tied to dragons and stuff. It's got extra perks when you get further down the Dragonification line. How strong is the strongest Fairy Tail character? Or we don't know anything about Oxaram whatsoever. We don't know anything about Oxaram. Zeref could reset timelines and actually became a threat to reality. So, I mean... Big broken. Mishima always goes big broken near the end. What powers do you want Shiki to gain by absorbing other ethers? I don't want him to. I'm still a little iffy on Ziggy being able to do that, because it adds an extra odd spot for the plot. I don't want Shiki to do it, though. It'll be weird if Shiki starts draining people of their ether gears. It's gonna depend also if it's like they steal it or if it's like they copied it kind of thing. You think Aaron's actually come back? Yes. Boruto versus Four Knights of the Apocalypse. Which one is better? I actually like Four Knights better personally. Why not Fire God Magic? I'm not a huge fan of God Slaying. God Slaying Magic, like every series has that group that's like they're built up to get toppled down. Like Bleach has like the Visors. One Piece has the Giants. Naruto has like the Hyugas and stuff. With Fairytale, it's the Godslayer. So if you have Godslayer next to your, next to your character sheet, you're probably not in for a good future. Day reminder: Conor McGregor beats August. No, August is still physically capable of fighting Gildart. So no. What do you think of Black Sky? Kind of unrelated. Oh no, so Black Sky. There's a couple things about it. One, visually it was really cool. But also, I feel like it's not complete. I feel like it should be way bigger. It looks like one of those attacks that if Xenolith used it, it'd be like 10 plus times bigger than Shiki's. I think it's going to be one of those where we just see it progressively get bigger as the series goes and as Shiki gets stronger. I just really love the idea of it just being this ranged mega gravity sphere that he's just going to crash into you. I was expecting some hacks, but I'm perfectly fine with this. I mean, I guess gravity manipulation is hacks, and if it's all in one spot too, do you think Natsu will turn into a dragon? What power do you think Gray can get? I mean, yeah, I think he's absolutely going to keep his dragonification process. Gray should become further into Devil Sling as well. Is it wrong or correct that Blackfire can burn through reality? That's like depends on the series. Thoughts on Yuji versus Siguru and Megumi going on a kill streak soon? I'll have to go check that out. I haven't read the new chapter yet on Jujutsu Kaisen. I just haven't messed with it. You should go to jail to steal Dark Alchemist from DJ Zombie. That'd be really cool if he could steal. I want to know if he steals it or if he copies it, because it's not the same as like My Hero quirks. You're born with your quirk. That is your quirk. Whereas Ether Gear, you can learn to do Ether Gear. So I would assume like if he drained somebody's Ether Gear, couldn't they just go learn another one? Basically, not even that, because it's like, couldn't you just relearn the one you already know, because you already know how to do it? My Hero shipping in probably isn't happening. That sucks. I believe that Ard will join Percival's crew. I don't think so. I think he's done. The only been 2 God Slayers in the series. I mean, there's only 3 of them, and one of them is absolutely by far the least valuable God Slayer. Like, Orga didn't even get a backstory. We don't know anything really about Orga's character other than that he likes to play music and he's bad at it. How powerful Tamura be after the fusion? I don't know. I have no idea. Satan Gravity itself doesn't seem to have much hacks other than having memories fall into other users. I mean, we don't know too much about it. I could say Selene holding a grudge for the simple fact that she killed. I mean, I think she's going to have a lot of issues. I think she's going to have a lot of things. But I think LF Series, she's going to have more issues because it's way more directly personal. Because without her, Georg never forms Diablos, and it's never it's never going to lead to the death of her son and stuff. Wonder if grades are going to think back to the moment he fought the Portia guy from like the very start of the series, because that's an anime scene. Do you think the Fourth Star Grand siblings a character we already know? I've seen that too. I don't like the Julius theories. It's so weird. Ziggy should go to Sky Mech Ninjutsu School to naturally learn Wind Rage. That'd be cool. Sky Ninjutsu arts and it would be weird. What is the most complex ability you have ever seen in fiction? I don't know. Most complex? I don't know, probably be some weird meta thing. I don't think Shelia will have God Slayer magic, just regular wind. Yeah, it seems to be. I don't think she can really do much anymore. Anything can fall within gravity, sort of. Great. This dude at the very start. Pretty problems with the Wayne woman. I mean, technically, yeah, but he's having problems with her since start. Still can't see Selene as a mother. I mean, she's a big, powerful dragon. How powerful would Ziggy be if he was Lucifero's host? I mean, it just depends on how strong Lucifero is. We don't really know anything about him either. We have a kind of a grasp on Ziggy now, but that's about it. We know he's somewhere around that level with like narrow people. Because like obviously he beat Narrow, but it's like he didn't no diff him. He got hurt and he was taking damage and he hit by stuff. So it's not like he's leagues above him. Julius being last Argus would be explained. Oh, please no. It's kind of sad to see Suzaku. Yeah, he's really bummed. I really like Suzaku so far for his character arc. It's like seeing a shonen main character, like a big shonen main cast member's backstory happening in real time. Like what we would see eventually when we got a flashback of why he's, you know, whatever his character troubles are. But we're seeing it as things are going, and I think that's been really cool. Iron level feat for sure. Sure doesn't have any iron level feats. How strong? How good of a feat do you think Sure was stopping the Eden Zero mid-flight? I mean, the Eden Zero was just kind of flying a little bit. There's nothing really to gauge off that. Juvia isn't nowhere in Lucy Slain. No, she's not. Ziggy's probably be healed after the arc. So yeah, let's get repaired. That would make current Shiki way better than pre-Second Origin Knots if he's out. He's not. Neither of them were. Xenolith did an attack like that, and it pulled down two Arasion, like an Arasion Arasion Sace Galactica and Interstellar member. That's not something Shiki could do. Like if you think about like that of where that level currently sits in Eden Zero, that's still above Shiki. Sure got God slaying magic from a book she owns. I mean, yeah, but she doesn't have the magic capability to really use it anymore. She can barely conjure up any magic at all. They threw away Juvia's hacks. I mean, Juvia's moveset is still the same. Is she gonna be hurt by physical attacks? Now it's pointless. What do you mean? She's been getting hit by attacks and not taking damage all the time. It just depends on who she fights. Like that was one of the major factors of her fight with Meredy, is that Meredy could damage her through that. 100 quest is going to probably will pass 200. I hope so. What do you think here when she was next work is going to be about F13-0? I remember he said something about like castles and knights, kind of like what Seven Alien Sins does. Way more of a medieval fantasy style world. I wish I could find it. I remember last time I wanted to look for that comment. I couldn't find it. But it is what it is. But dang. Anyway, I think that's going to call it for today. I just wanted to have a short stream. I just wanted to talk a little bit about like the stuff going on right now. Well, the chapters are all building up some pretty good spots. We're like just as the 3 I used in this, we're at really weird spots. Like obviously Fairy Tail coughing. Fairy Tail's about to start an arc that has a lot of mystery to it. Black Clover is at a spot where it's like whatever happens next is going to be really weird, but something has to happen soon. And then Eden Zero is on the edge of an arc, so everything beyond like these next couple chapters is going to be really intriguing and give us a lot of general information, I bet.